Hello and welcome to our latest Silver Sages Sharing Stories. Today I'm actually recording this in the evening, speaking with my friends Chris and Susan Beesley, who live in just south of London in England. So they're bright and sunny and summery in the morning, and I'm cuddled up in wintry Queensland at 7 o'clock at night. It's absolutely wonderful to see you, Susan and Chris. And I first met these lovely people on a cold and cold and rainy day going to a workshop in London. I was jet lagged, they were cold, and we met over a coffee and have been friends ever since. Chris and Susan are online business educators. They have a wonderful story, and I'd love you, Chris and Susan, to tell everybody about how you got started, the professional background and your motivation to get into online business.
Oh, thank you for a lovely introduction. And we were just talking about how long ago it was we met you. I think it was about 2005. And I think the best thing that came out of that workshop was our friendship and you being our buddy, because we had to buddy up on that workshop.
Yes.
And, you know, friendship is everything, even if you're not building a business, but more so if you are. And we followed you and what you've been doing. So where did we get started? Well, they call it the trigger point, or straw that breaks the camel or donkey's back, whichever fable that you go for. But for us, it was the big recession of 2008 and the financial meltdown. We had a successful management consultancy and accountancy practice at the time, and we never really saw any need to change that. But that big wake-up call came in 2008, didn't it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, like most self-employed people, and you'd think accountants would know better, but they don't really. Well, it's like the kitchen fitter whose kitchen's falling apart, isn't it? As I say, you'd think we'd know better, that we should have invested in our pension from sort of the age of 20 and, done that for 40 odd years. But of course, life gets in the way, and you have children and mortgages and all those sorts of things. And so your money goes out as quick as it comes in. And you tend to think, well, okay, I'll deal with that later. It's fine. So we got to our mid-50s, so about 2005, we thought we better do something about this, because we don't really want to carry on doing this for the rest of our lives. And so we decided, the big thing at that point in time was to invest in property. And so we thought, well, that sounds reasonable. What we'll do is we'll go and learn how to do it properly. So we went on a course to learn how to invest in property and, make sure that we avoided as many of the pitfalls as we could. And then we started to invest our money in property, and we built up a reasonable portfolio, and everything was on track, shall we say, until 2008. And then, of course, worldwide recession, and a lot of our property portfolio
went down the drain.
It wasn't as good as it should have been. So
very similar to what's happening to lots of people right now.
Exactly, and it's almost like deja vu. It's like quite scary, but we're glad that we're now positioned to help more people through what we've learned as well.
Yeah.
So that's what. That was what started us thinking, okay, we need to do something. But, like most people, we didn't have a clue what, because, we'd always had this accountancy business where we'd had clients and we went to clients, and
it was good.
It was a good business. But of course, the biggest challenge was that we had no time, because, we were working 6 or 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day. And on Sunday, we were preparing for the week coming, after cooking Sunday lunch for the kids and doing all the things that you have to do, balance your family life and your work life and all those sorts of things.
Bit of a hamster wheel.
Sorry?
Yes.
A hamster wheel, yes.
So we knew we wanted to do something, but we weren't really looking. But what we were doing was we'd started to investigate online education, on behalf of our clients.
So upskilling ourselves, basically.
So that we were learning we thought, well, if we learn a bit more about this internet stuff, and, because back then, it's not that long ago, but, most small businesses didn't have a website.
Scary, isn't it?
Or if they did, it wasn't sort of doing anything. It was just a brochure online. And so we thought we'd start to learn about this stuff so that we could, give more to our clients, do more for our clients, and, maybe expand our business a little bit, although we didn't have the time really, but that was the thought.
We just wanted to be the best that we could be in the business that we had, and that's how we got our business anyway.
So while we were doing that, we were doing this research, we actually discovered that there were people actually had a business online, and they were actually selling things on the internet and making money. And we looked at we'd seen quite a few of them, weren't really paying much attention to them. But then we saw a young guy who happened to be in the UK, sort of probably about 40 or 50 miles away
Very
from us.
Coincidental now.
And we thought, well, I wonder what he's doing. And so we started to have a look, read his website and things. He was a person who actually did have a website that told you things. And we thought, well, maybe this might work, because the thing that really struck us was that we could work from anywhere. And that was the sort of thing that really we thought, hang on, so we can work from home, but we can work from anywhere in the world. It means we can travel, and that was one of our biggest things. But at that time, we were also, we still are, we love our skiing. And one of the things we did manage to keep out of our property portfolio was a house that we have in the French Alps.
I'm glad you checked that one. That's excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So our original plan was to retire to the French Alps, wasn't it?
But things change, and I think this is something your viewers and your listeners will really understand. The change that's happened in like the last 12 weeks, for example. Everything shifts, and you have to be able to shift as well. And I think for us, as Chris said, once we saw what was possible, we thought, well, how could we now transfer our business skills, our traditional business skills, and bring them online? Because we already had that reputation there. Could we bring it online? And finding this young mentor and seeing what he'd done, he agreed to mentor us, and we never looked back since, because he was amazing. He gave us the way to find the skills that we needed. We knew that we had a good story, a good background, and that we could build relationships with people and help them. And that has been the foundation of our business over the last decade.
Yeah, and of course, I've been, part of it, watching what was going on and following and all that sort of thing over those years. And one of the things that I've most strongly admired about the two of you is the resilience that you've shown through all the normal ups and downs of any business. And the way that you've been, I'll use the word that's being so used at the moment, the way you've pivoted as you've needed to, according to the demands of your clients and the circumstances around you. So would you like to share now what the sort of work that you are doing and what you've really presenting to people, how you're teaching them and what you're teaching them?
I think, you said it right at the beginning, online education. So we have not only our own products, but we promote, if you like, other people's products, those products that we use ourselves, and those products that, people who we trust, and we listen to their training, and we can promote that to help our customers or our clients in whatever area, in whatever area they want to build their business online. Now, let's try and put this into context. There are many different ways you can build a business online. Many different ways, from importing products to China and selling them on Amazon, through to just promoting, yeah, through to promoting books online, promoting video series, doing personal training, coaching. I mean, there's thousands of different ways that you can use it.
Thousands of niches.
Yeah.
For anything from health and wellness to dating, and to digital education products, which is what we tend to focus on. So I don't think people really realise until they start looking just what is available. But our biggest tip definitely would be just do something that you either have a skill base in or you have a passion for, because otherwise having to learn new skills, particularly if you're in your second career or your last chapter, as it's often referred to, it's got to be something that turns on the light for you. Otherwise, there's no pleasure in it. And I mean, we get pleasure out of what we do every single day. That's really, really important.
I mean, we discovered that we love teaching and training.
Who would have thought it?
And that's just something that's come out of our journey over the last 10 years. And did it just happen? Well, no, not really. It's something that we discovered we were pretty good at through just doing it. Because our mentor, the very young mentor at the time, because he was 27 years old and I was 57 years old, so it was sort of.
And I was just a few years younger.
We had kids younger than him, older than him. But the thing was, he'd done what we wanted to do. So the thing about it is that you have to do what is right for you. And what you'll find with the internet nowadays is that it's not hard to start. We're not talking about like when we started investing in our property, investing, tens or 20s or 30 or hundreds of thousands of pounds.
Scary.
You can put your toe in the water and find out if it's for you for a relatively modest cost.
Yes.
A low to modest cost. So it's not something that, should break the bank for you, because if you decide it's not for you, then you just stop. Okay. It might have cost you a little bit, but at the end of the day, you got some new skills, because that's what it's about. It's about getting some new skills. Now, when we first started, did we have the skills we needed? Of course we didn't.
Not those kind of skills.
We were like most people, we could send email and, being accountants, we could work with spreadsheets and, write letters on Microsoft Word or whatever. So we had to learn a lot of new skills, but they were great new skills. And we thoroughly enjoyed doing it, I have to say, didn't we?
Yeah, and that's how the teaching came out of it. Just to cut a long story short, our mentor was just starting a brand new program. He asked us if we would help him build that out and do some of the training. We said, well, we don't know how to do training. He said, oh, never mind, just do a call every week for the members and teach them what you've learned this week. So okay, so that's what we did. But being professionals in our previous business, we made sure that what we taught was something we had done and that we could easily impart to somebody learning brand new. And that's the market we're in. We're in the market that teaches newcomers to online business. We don't pretend to be anything else. We don't want to be gurus or anything like that. We're just normal people, and we want to help normal people to achieve some kind of success in or approaching their retirement, because they're people who follow us because of our age, I guess.
Yeah.
Not just because of your age. You have a wonderful way of making what can be quite confusing seem very, very simple. You bring it down to a simple level that if somebody is beginning and doesn't really understand the terminology and that sort of thing, you teach it sequentially. And I think that's been a great gift, and that's why you've succeeded, because you are using, as you said, your skills that you've got, the new skills you've got, but those transferable skills that you always had of being able to explain to somebody, what they should do with their money or how they should do their tax. Well, you're using those same simple, bringing things down to a simple level. which is fantastic. What part of your business overall are you most proud of?
Writing a book.
Yeah, writing. I think becoming authors very early on in our online career. And the way we did that was actually, bizarrely enough, since we're sharing our story, was actually sharing our story about how we got started, the mindset shifts that we had to go through, hence the name of the book, to actually achieve what we were achieving then, which was nothing like we are 10 years later. And we published that book in 2013, our first one, which is the mindset shift from employee to home business entrepreneur. Then we had a sequel to that, which is our goal setting success secrets, because that's what we did with our traditional clients. We would sit down and do the planning with them, the business planning, and there's nothing different in the online world to the offline world as far as that's concerned. You see all this stuff about goal setting. There is nothing really brand new about it. It just is a plan, and you write a plan, you look at your goals, and then you work to achieve them. It's as simple as that. So doing that, I think, was like our biggest business card online for us, and gave us a lot of authority and influence. And then we started to be interviewed by other people who were writing books and asked us if we would contribute a chapter to their book. So we wrote a chapter in this one. I've just got it here, Retire, Inspire, which is probably one of our proudest achievements, because that book became a #1 bestseller on Amazon. It's been bought by so many people. We were not the major authors in it, let's be clear, but people are starting to see, those who are from a professional background are starting to see the potential for them in hundreds of different ways, because we've all had a different perspective on what retirement is for us. Some are officially retired and they don't work anymore. They just share how they got to that stage. We don't see ourselves ever retiring. I look at him just in case he disagrees with me. But we don't, we absolutely love what we do. And I do feel that, it sounds strange, but I do feel that we have a mission. I do feel that we have a responsibility to not just sit back and put our feet up and take in the sun on some lovely beach when we can travel, but to help people who may not be so fortunate. I think there are so many people out there today who were probably like us, or are probably like us, where you bury your head in the sand. I'll deal with that pension thing at some point in the future. Whether it's because you haven't got the money, or whether it's because you're frightened of stopping what you're doing. What am I going to do all of a sudden when I hit 65 or 66, whatever the age is going to be at some point? Or 88 even, as we heard just last week.
What's going to happen when one day I just, I take my gold watch and the next day I'm at home and I actually don't have to go to work and I've got nothing to do? That's quite, for some people, that's a scary prospect. And I mean, we remember the day that we packed up our last client, and then the next morning you sort of wake up without the alarm clock and you go, well, what are we going to do today then?
And you don't put on a suit, suit jacket and pack your briefcase and get in the car and go off to your client.
It's a big change. And I think that's one of the biggest fears that a lot of people have. Is fear of change. What will it be like? What will happen on the other side of the fence when I've made the decision or I'm committed to it? There's all of these thoughts that go through your head. And I think particularly as you probably get a little bit older, if you've never been an entrepreneur in any way, shape or form, so you may have always been employed and had a good job and a career and gone up the ladder and all those sorts of things, all of a sudden not being able to chat to people around the coffee machine, or not having a a guaranteed check coming in every month, although they might, you may have your pension. There's lots of different reasons why people have different types of retirement, because, for us, as Susan said, we probably won't ever retire because we just love what we do. And we're very fortunate that it allows us to travel the world and teach and train other people. Our big passion is travel. So, that's what it allows us to do. So we've managed to get ourselves into a position where we can, if you like, for us, it's an ideal life.
I was just about to ask you about the travel. I know you've taught in many different countries, taught about online business and different aspects of online business. Would you like to share with the viewers some of the places that you have taught?
Oh my goodness.
You can see this.
And I know you find a good beach and a nice drink wherever you go.
I know. Well, you have to live the dream as well as promote the dream.
Yes.
That's what we firmly believe, even if we are in self-isolation and lockdown at the time that we're recording this video with you, Jenni. You have to be a product of the product. Otherwise, how do people believe your integrity? So look, behind us, we often get referred to, is this your vision board? Well, no, this is a real life.
This is a where we've been board.
Where we've been, people we've met, friends we've made, and it helps motivate us towards every day doing what we do to build our business.
Yes.
And I have to say, we will tell you the places we've traveled, but I want to say one thing that's really important, because it's you and we're talking to you. Before we even began our online career, we had a picture on a pin board, because we didn't have whiteboards then, in our office when we were running our consultancy business. It was a picture of Sydney Harbour Bridge. And on it we wrote, "We will go there one day."
You did.
And we did, and we met you and David, and it was just the most fabulous time of our life. And it cemented that if you really work towards your dreams, you can make things possible. We recorded a video, didn't we, at the weekend, about how many miles we travelled.
Yeah, it
was incredible.
We've done something like 185,350 miles.
Wow.
The exact figure.
We've been to 9 countries and 17 different cities.
And how many times round Mars did that?
I don't know. It's about 3.9 times round Mars or something.
We just did something funny to equate our passion for travel, if you like.
Yeah.
So Sydney, Australia is one of those places that we've been. We've been to Singapore. We've got pictures of us in raffles and pictures of us with the
up the top of the towers there. Obviously Europe. We love Europe. I think one of our favourite places, because it's where my mum and my stepfather told us we had to go, was Santorini in Greece.
Oh yes.
I know you've been to Santorini.
I was there this time last year.
I know. Yeah. And I think travel really just not only broadens your mind, but it gives you different perspective on people's way of life, the way they live their life, the way we can take some of those things back with us and change what we do. The world's in turmoil at the moment, and we just can't wait to travel again, because bizarrely enough we have a travel business alongside our online education business, because the two fit so well together.
They do.
And it's perfect for us, and we know people will want to travel again.
So where else? All around the US, Canada.
Yeah. It's spoken on many stages. I know that. Before you, sorry, Chris, before you started this business, if you go back to, let's go back to that day on the steps in London where we met, and we were both there because it was speaking from stage, selling your products from stage. We were both sort of at the early stages of looking at what you could do with online business, with online products. So go back to that time. What do you wish that you knew then that would have been invaluable for you?
We would have started that much earlier than we did. We wouldn't have waited until the trigger point that forced us to make a change, definitely. Other than that, I don't think we would change a lot, because we wouldn't have been ready for what we're doing now, because I think it's time and place. But we learn skills, meet people, connect with people, network with people that lead you to a decision later in life. And it's then that those things, dare I say it, magically come together, but they do. And, you know, like we said right at the beginning, when we met you, we gelled, and we just knew we'd be friends for life, and we would come and visit you in Australia. And that was what we did.
Indeed. So we've kind of skirted around this, but if somebody is thinking about starting a business now, what would be sort of few points that you would give to them that they really must think about?
Okay. Well, as Susan said,
my first point would be my passion, which is they have to choose something that's right for them.
That's absolutely right. I mean, that's the first thing. You've got to have something that you're either passionate about, or you love doing, or you have the skills in to be able to get started. So you then need to think about, okay, what's the purpose of this exercise?
Why am I doing it?
Why am I doing it? Because if you don't know why you're doing it, you know, if you hate traveling, there will be no point in starting a travel business.
You don't just do it for the money.
No,
that's what we're saying.
You know, that's the thing. You have to think about what's the reason. Is it for money, or is there some other reasons behind it? You know, a lot of these businesses nowadays, you can leave as a legacy. You know, you can generate passive income out of them, which is amazing, because it's just like having a pension. But it also enables you to have a reason to get up in the morning. And I think the other key thing is make sure that any business that you start, you have somebody you can work with, or who's prepared to support and guide you. So if you like, a mentor or a coach, whatever you like to call them. And then I think one of the biggest things is making sure there's a community of other people.
Yeah, those are our
community is huge.
Top tips.
Because when you work from home, there's this sort of perception that, you know, there's nobody else out there, you're on your own, and, you know, you're just stuck in front of your computer or whatever it is you're doing. But it's totally not true if you don't want it to be like that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we've made friends all around the world through traveling all around the world and going to events all around the world and training and speaking. You know, we just love what we do. But there is, you know, we've built a community, and whatever business we work in, we always make sure there's a community, so that you know, we've got other people who we can talk to and ask questions. Because when you're learning new stuff, the simplest thing will bring you to a grinding halt.
Oh, yes.
And all you need is somebody to say, yeah, just click that button there.
Yep.
And it's great if you know where the button is.
And it's great if you know somebody you can ask where the button is.
Exactly.
Look, it's been an absolute delight talking with both of you. I really appreciate the things that I've learnt from you over the years, and I'm sure that the viewers and listeners will also hop and have a look at your website and learn things from you as well. So thank you so much, Chris and Susan. I really do appreciate it.
It's been our pleasure, and it's just amazing that we can use technologies like this to reach each other all these miles across the world, and I think that's the future. Thank you for inviting us.